So I hope you guys had a good lunch and you're all charged to listen into some very, very interesting insights, which we're going to get right here, right now. This is actually a session I called out even in my welcome address in the morning, because I did speak about how CX is multidisciplinary in nature and how important it is for leadership to come together. And there they are. So we have Yogesh, who's the CDO at Kotak. We have Rohit, who's president and CMO at Kotak, and of course an MMA India board member. And that's exactly what we're going to attempt here. We're going to attempt how important it is to break silos and to work together in collaboration when it comes to marketing and CX. So thank you so much for doing this. I do know it's been a very, very busy schedule for you guys, and you've made it here, so totally appreciate it. Okay, so let's dive straight in. Rohit, I'm going to start with you. So Rohit, of course, like the topic is about breaking silos, right? How difficult do you think it is to sort of really enable collaboration between marketing and CX, and what does it really take to make it happen? What challenges also does it, sort of come with? Maybe you could throw some light on that one.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys? Okay. So, I think the one myth, whenever we have these conversations, one myth which I want to start with and want to break is this whole bit about, I think we get too excited with marketing in AI and marketing. For me, it is first most important to really understand that AI marketing is just one part of it. It is more about the entire customer life cycle and the customer journey, or the entire business end to end, that AI really influences. And I think marketing is one part of it. So we'll talk a lot about customer experience end to end, and talk about specific aspects of marketing.
Sure.
I think the most basic use case of AI in marketing is about efficiency. What the ads that you would make in foreign locales with a chosen big director, spend crores of rupees, spend few weeks to make it, and then say what a masterpiece, I've kind of made it, and run a 30-second on that.
Right.
Now you can do all of that stuff in much shorter time using the power of AI. But that for me is an efficiency bit, which is more as a manufacturer, I reduce my costs, get decent enough output. And I think I want to park that part of AI in marketing. We'll talk a lot about customer experience and how we really work together to
Yes.
drive customer experience. I think at the heart of AI and customer experience is this whole space of personalization,
Right.
which is what is the first use case I want to talk about. And you cannot deliver, so and it's all about analyzing realms and realms of data, predicting behaviors, and personalizing experiences. That's really the best use case of AI.
Sure.
When it comes to marketing and customer experience. And to do that, you really require a very strong customer data platform.
Right.
Because if you don't have a strong customer data platform, then where do you really get the insights about customer behavior? And that is what I rely on Yogesh and the tech team to be able to provide to me. So so what we've built is what we call is the compute team. The customer data platform is a set of data scientists whose job is to really look at data and build machine learning algorithms to be able to create meaningful insights.
Sure.
And then data consumers, people, my team, the marketers, the analysts, the insights team, who look at that data and ask questions to that data. And so that based on this insight, what is the right card which would be relevant to this person? If this person is shopping online, and at that point of time, I know that he loves to shop abroad, can I tell him about he's currently using a card on which he has to give a foreign markup? Can I offer to him a card which has 0 forex markup, because I know that he
Yeah.
regularly shops on foreign sites, goes abroad and shops there? If I know that this person is really interested in watching movies, can I give him real life, in real time examples, in real time benefits that he can kind of do? That's what marketing would love to do. But to do that, I need rich insights, which
Sure.
kind of comes from what Yogesh creates for me.
Got
So
it.
that's really the biggest interaction that we do. Without having that strong, robust customer data platform, I can't make any meaningful insights and create personalized offers and propositions product for customers.
True. So it's really about insight-driven marketing more than just data-driven marketing. Yogesh, what are your views?
Thanks for having me here. Just plus one to what Rohit said. So it's not about one transaction, one interaction, right? It's about the customer lifecycle management. Now, at any given point of time, whether it's on our website, mobile banking, or even in our branches or people on phone calls, there are maybe, tens of lakhs of interactions happening every day. How do we make sure each and every interaction is coming from the same source of truth? So all the information from marketing on the products, the propositions, then our internal processes, we have to ingest all of those into our homegrown platform. We call it Kotak AI. And how can they empower our frontline as well as customers with more simple, faster, more accurate information that is relevant to them, not only as a persona, but as what Rohit said, right? At that point of time,
Yeah.
if I'm craving for something, watching a movie, I want to watch, go and see a concert that's organized by marketing, I've browsed through that. How can I make those information available to customers in real time? Doesn't
That makes
matter the
sense.
channel of interaction. So that's the power of AI, that will enhance the overall customer experience.
Makes sense. But
Actually, I'll give you another.
sure.
So I don't know whether it's true or false, but I not related to Kotak, but this is an insight, or this is an interesting insight which I picked up where AI helped a particular business. I've often wondered why, when you're watching Netflix, the moment you finished the current episode, it automatically gets you on to watching the next episode.
Right.
I found it very convenient, but I never realized why it was happening until I read somewhere that the insight that they had is that if they don't give that, the person would not go on to the next episode. He will say, okay, I finished one episode, I'll kind of come later. But just the act of continuing to the next episode makes the person watch it at that point in time, and therefore you're stuck on watching Netflix for that much time longer and not doing something else. Now, this is another example of real time, in time, and I think the best one, these best uses of AI is personalized, but personalized in real time.
Makes sense.
And that's where you get the real benefit. You're shopping at Myntra, we've got a Myntra co-branded card. While you're shopping at Myntra, you love a particular dress, and now you reached at the end of the shopping cart. If at that point in time I offer to you that you want 10% additional off on this card, take a Kotak branded Myntra card, the greater chance that you would take it. And that's again an example of how this data platform tells me who's more likely to take my Kotak Myntra card and do that at that point of time.
Sure. Can we have your
Oh,
mics
sorry.
closer is what the audience has to ask. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So now that we've set that context, obviously one is about knowing this is the right thing to do. The other is about being able to implement it, right? And which does come with the need to implement many structural changes, new structures. So how did you enable a structure which allows this real-time exchange of understanding to happen at all points in times to serve your customers better?
So I was saying that what underpins a strong AI delivery ecosystem in a company, in a bank, is to have a very strong the data platform.
Sure.
And therefore, we recruited a very senior person who really understands analytics very well. So it's almost like a combination, a tri-party between the analytics guy, the tech person, and the marketing team. So you
Okay.
build a very, very robust data platform. And then you need lots of AI engineers to be able to build algorithms to how do you analyze that data? Because unlike many other categories, possibly banks have the most amount of data about their customers. I used to work at Levers before this, and we would never have first-party data. We would from third-party data build cohorts. Here you have everything that you want to know about, right from personal details to behavioral details to spending patterns, everything. But it's now about how do I really find the right insights from this. So you really need a strong analytics team and a strong tech team, which can really build the right algorithms to ask questions to this customer base. And then you need a very strong marketing team who understands how to use these to create the right propositions based on the insights that you're kind of getting. Otherwise, this data can be there for you, and you can do nothing with it if you really don't know how to ask the right questions. So getting this combination right of strong data, strong tech, and strong marketing, and then socializing these conversations between those three teams is what really is making it work for us.
Fantastic. I hope you guys are picking up some good tips out here. But Yogesh, tell me one thing to what Rohit said, right? So this is how you've kind of tried to implement it as a structure, but I'm sure there have been roadblocks in the process, right? It can never be friction-free. So what are those roadblocks, and how are you attempting to overcome those?
I think so. Of course, banks, as Rohit said, right, we have a lot of data. but that brings in a lot of responsibility. It's our customers' data. We are in a risk management business. AI is something that you can't take it lightly or implement lightly. So you have to take, so everything, what we have done is our customers' data, our products, our processes, everything stays in-house.
Sure.
So we have built firewalls. So there's data infrastructure that Rohit was talking about, plus the layer of security, governance, all of those things are very, very important. Once we've built that, then, right now, Kotak AI as a platform is accessible to about 40,000 of our employees who can, so instead of trying to give a complex process as a response to our customer, can simplify. So they have the tools that can say, tell me about this process or this product as if you're telling it to a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Right? So then there are other things also, like, for example, grievances, right? That's like a very, very complex and something, as banks, who care about our customers, we take it very seriously. But the response to the grievances, by our frontline associates, was complex at times, it could have mistakes. But now what we are doing, we can respond to those customers in like matter of 2 seconds with far more accuracy, 90+% accuracy, in a very simple way for customers to understand it, right? And in the language of their choice.
Sure.
Right? So all of those things are very, very important Lego blocks of getting this AI, kind of like getting started with the journey. But again, the opportunities are limitless, what we can do with it.
Got it.
Yeah, so to build to what Yogesh
Sure.
is saying, I want to give you a couple of more use cases which will be possibly
Yes.
very, very beneficial for everyone who's listening. And I think the one thing that you always have to keep in mind is think of yourself as a customer who's using that
Please.
using that
Thank you.
category.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So who's using that? Think of yourself as a customer who's using that category. Now, how many times has it happened that? And the other one use case of AI has been all about personalization.
Sure.
The other use case is all about improving customer service, which I think is a very underrated but possibly the best use case of AI. And I'll give you a few examples as to where we're seeing value coming out of that. Now, how many times would have happened that you had a problem with the bank, you called up your bank, you kind of spoke for 10 minutes explaining what issue you had, and then the person on the other side said, sorry, I'm not the right person to solve it. I'll transfer you to person X. And then you go there and then you have to repeat
Correct.
all of that again.
Yeah.
And then he can't solve it or he doesn't solve it to your satisfaction. And then you say, can I speak to the supervisor?
And even worse when you get disconnected.
And then you get
Where
disconnected,
you
have to
the whole
restart.
thing.
And then
Yes.
again, so now imagine if you were you're trying to spend on your credit card, your credit card did not work, you're frustrated, you call the call center. The agent there in real time can see that you just tried to make a sale on your credit card, it did not work.
Yeah.
And he or she already knows what was the reason for that, whether you put a wrong PIN number or you had not activated. So you call the call center and the person picks up and says, Monica, thank you so much for being a customer. I realize that you've just had this issue. I'm assuming you're calling me for that. This is the reason why this happened. And this is what you can do to solve that problem. Matter closed.
Correct.
Now, this is using insights about your behavior and combining it with real-time explanation to that person as to why that thing happened. Because I could have just kept it there saying that Monica's card did not work. But if he doesn't know why Monica's card did not work, then how can he help you with the solution? So that's one example of how AI is actually helping us better customer service. Another example is now banking is
So are you
again.
talking about Kotak AI by any chance?
Yeah, all Kotak AI.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
Kotak
So
AI.
all-
These are all what
Okay.
Yogesh is building for us.
There's
I'm
a large
talking
So
team
this is
behind
actually
it.
happening.
It's actually, this is
Wow.
what, this is,
Yeah.
some parts of it are happening, some parts of we're working towards.
Fair.
Again, a very complex category. Many products that you sell from a non-resident account to a credit card to a personal loan, etc. And imagine one human who has to know everything about everything. Now you call that customer agent for a particular thing, and in many cases, or you're our relationship manager, you ask him something, he says, I will get back to you.
Sure.
Now imagine if the relationship manager, this is what Kotak AI is trying to achieve.
Yeah.
He has a chatbot where he can write, my customer is asking me about XYZ product. What should I tell him or her? And the AI tells you everything about the product that based on the prompt that you've given to AI, and the AI tells you this is what the customer wants to know, this is how you answer, and then you tell the customer on the spot, this is the answer to your question. Now again, putting the information of the entire bank
Correct.
at one place, but again giving the RM the ability, or the service agent who's answering the call, the ability to interact with AI to ask those questions and get the answers which can help customer. We really want to transform service both at the frontline level and the digital level.
Sure.
That is one of the biggest use cases of Kotak AI that we are working to really impact. And again, it's a combination of data, analytics, and training those people to use AI. So one more thing that people have to really get with AI is how do we train people to ask the right questions to AI to be able to know how to use AI.
Yogesh, on
Yeah.
that note, I want to bring you in, like just where I wanted to lead it to you. You know what he said is so correct. Like the ability to train AI effectively to make sure that it's on point and it's really helping the customer support guide their conversation. How did you get it so like accurate, or what have you been doing to make it more accurate?
So, of course, the machines are machines. So there are about 1,500 plus process nodes that we have uploaded, right?
Okay.
Like there is no human who can remember all these 1,500 plus process nodes and
Wow.
process it in like 2 seconds. So there's that kind of information. Then you add, a layer of like all the portfolio of products,
Right.
from savings, from credit cards, investments, all of those, plus
Right.
all your transactional data,
Yeah.
right? All of that data, if it is in secure framework, AI can respond to you, and also understanding that, for because personalization, right, like is very different for an NR customer or an SME customers, right? 500 rupees could mean a lot to someone and not mean a lot to a few of us, right?
Sure.
So that's why, so it's very important to understand customers' anxiety. So AI, the bots that we have in place, by reading and again consuming the text, images, voice, it can tell whether the customer is frustrated or customer is kind of like saying, okay, I'm fine with it. So that level of understanding, it's hard for human beings to first get it
Correct.
and process it, right?
Correct.
Now, once the machines are understanding, analyzing it, and giving an output that puts that customer's anxiety to rest, because we are talking about money,
Yes.
which comes with a lot of anxiety.
So true.
Right? So that's where the right amount of empathy can be applied
Yes.
versus, I don't care kind of an attitude that's humanly possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exciting times for customers.
Excellent. No, I think that's so important. It's really the role of human beings to ensure that AI is able to deal with the entire engagement with empathy. And that has to be really understood, fed, and comes with a lot of data inputs. So couldn't agree more. But Rohit, coming back to you, right? Given the seamless way in which you are trying to work with disciplines like, digital CX, analytics, how have you been able to measure the success of it? How do you think it's enabling growth for you at this stage?
So the best measure is actually the NPS survey, the
Okay.
RNPS. So one of the biggest challenges with our industry is that we are not the best known for our service. And we started now measuring in our RNPS scores at every quarter now. And we understand where are the issues. One of the big issues that we found out was in relationship management. My RM disappears, my RM doesn't solve my problem. So we saw that the RNPS scores of managed customers, people who had a relationship manager, was actually lower than the scores of the customers who were not managed by relationship managers. So I mean, that's reality. And it is funny at one extent, but the moment you put a human interaction with and that was always the whole proposition for private banks.
Yeah.
That public sector banks don't have a relationship manager. We'll provide a relationship manager who can solve all. And over time, somewhere we've lost the relationship in management. And what AI is helping us do is to get it back.
Sure.
Because one of the reasons why that guy, and it's not that he doesn't want to help his customer, but it is such a regulated, complex industry. And something as simple as saying that, I'll give an example. You have a particular product with the bank, you've given your Aadhaar and KYC documents. Now you want to take another product with the bank. You'll again have to give those same
Yeah.
documents. So you'll ask a question, you are the bank, you have my documents, why do you want it again? It's an
Yeah.
RBI rule. But using AI, when you start enabling the frontline, all the assistant people with information about why this customer has this problem, how can you solve him, how do you make them knowledgeable without having to go through an encyclopedia?
Right.
That is leading to genuine improvement in the relationship, the customer experience with the bank, and therefore having more happy customers. So we're measuring
Are
in
you able to
RNPS.
quantify the growth achieved in any sense as a
No, so
percentage?
we've seen double-digit growth in our RNPS scores
Yeah.
across all our touch points, across products, across
Wow.
various segments.
Okay.
But the scores itself are so low that we have a
Fair.
huge distance to
Yeah,
cover.
we are only getting
Fair.
started, right? And again, just to add on to the point,
Yeah.
that RNPS is like an output metric,
Okay.
but there are a lot of input metrics
Just
we
for
obsess
the
about.
interest of the audience, like just do the full
Yeah, yeah.
form
So-
of RNPS.
So it's the
Relationship Net Promoter
Yeah.
Score.
net promoter score.
Relationship Net Promoter Score, for
Right?
those who are
So
wondering.
that's an output of lot of actions and lot of interactions that has gone with the customer. But
Yeah.
what are the input metrics there? Whether we were able to solve the customer's issue the first time.
Sure.
You know, whether customer had to cross several hoops, right? What was their average, handle time? What was their,
Wow.
if there were like long pauses in between, right? Or time to resolve. There's just like lot of input metrics you
Yeah.
have to obsess about every day to get that monthly, quarterly RNPS that Rohit tracks. Right,
Wow. So that's really teamwork, as we can see. But tell me, Yogesh, just to add to what you were talking about, and of course, Rohit kept mentioning it a few times. There's the category you are representing is high risk, has a lot of compliance. So, how is AI enabling that piece for you, and how are you tackling it?
So I think it's about first understanding the responsibility that we have for our customers,
Sure.
right? Protecting their data, protecting their money.
Yes.
Making sure that the biases are removed.
Right.
So right now, the approach we have taken is all about ingesting our internal products, processes, and policies information. So there is no external factor that is influencing our large language model. It's purely based on, and it remains within Kotak's ecosystem. So those things don't go outside of ecosystems. So our data is completely protected. Now the things we are obsessing about, in terms of risk and compliance. So a good customer, right? Say Monica, applies for a home loan,
Sure.
and for some reason your application was rejected because some human being did not do the right credit check. Now AI can actually enhance our time as well as accuracy of doing a credit check and giving you instant approvals. So instead of taking months for a mortgage loan, if that can be done in a day or two, right, with far more accuracy, so I'm not only growing the business, but also making sure the risks aspect of it is protected.
Interesting. So, Rohit, back to you.
Can I give you another use
Of course.
Another use case of this? I'll give you one simple example. So an old gentleman in the bank, he'd gone abroad, a senior citizen. He'd been getting messages that your credit card payment is due. So, in the evening in America, he was there. He made the payment, but that was like early morning in India, or whatever
Correct.
time it was. So the bank picked up the trigger. Old people at 2 o'clock in the morning are not usually with their bank. They froze his account. And then that guy went off to sleep after making the payment, and the bank would have called him, and he was sleeping. He gets up in the morning, he's making transactions, his account is frozen. Now this is a real example. Now how, and this is a false positive. You did not have enough information fed into your AI engine to
Right.
be able to understand that this guy is actually traveling abroad because he's making this payment from somewhere else, and it could be a genuine case because when he's making the payment, it is wherever he is, it's not like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Or found a way to kind of ask him the question, give him a real life while he's making the payment, saying, are you actually making this payment because it's late in the morning? Now, this is what AI is trying to do, to remove the false positives in detecting fraud.
Okay.
Because imagine the hassle that that guy went through abroad, account getting frozen. We did it in his best interest.
Right.
The senior citizen account, we don't want to kind of give him that hassle that someone, and they fall prey to many of these, crooks who kind of make them do these kind of things. But when you train your AI to ask the right questions and then engage real time with the customer, we could have avoided this case. So this is like an example of how you are using Kotak AI to genuinely remove false positives and offer better customer experience.
Awesome. Awesome. This is really exciting and interesting. So, since you do seem to have, for both of you, since you do seem to have some extremely good use cases and they're clearly sort of working and there's benefit that you're seeing, how do you see Kotak AI scaling? What's next for Kotak AI and how are you working towards it?
So I think the big piece is we have started small. There are about 20 to 25 skills that we have. There's a lot of work going on to make sure we can add more skills. We just tested something, earlier. We can add a new skill now in matter of 2 hours, right? So there are like multiple skills we'll have to start adding.
Define that. What do you mean by that?
So each and every piece, right? Like a customer support for risk management. These are different skills that you'll have to build it. It's like a module, right? Or an application within this thing. So there's a lot of like a work that is going on, but we'll have to be very, very careful. It's not a 100-meter sprint, it's a marathon, right? So it'll take some time for us to test and run different use cases. We have moved into, first we have a custom LLM model, we're moving into conversational AI. Then we'll have to get into, agentic AI, where our customers will have like a financial assistant. Again, I don't know the timing of all of this right now, but it's kind of like part of the vision, right? So if Rohit is on the app and he doesn't need to go and analyze the statements, an agent can actually do it on his behalf. Like, give me a summary or a snapshot of, my top 10 transactions, and he gets that. Did I overspend? Yes, right? So all of that information can be there. How's your investment portfolio performing versus market? There's just a lot of like agentic AI things that we'll get into it. But again, it's just the beginning of this whole journey. There's a lot more excitement across Kotak, for doing all our jobs. This is just the customer side, but there's also an employee side.
Sure.
How can marketeers, develop? They're not limited to just like 5 or 10 versions of different creatives or 5 or 10. There could be hyper-personalized campaigns that's very, very relevant for one particular customer versus rest of them. Then there's also a lot of content generation aspects of it, which takes very, very long time to produce it and then get it in front of customers. All of that can be done in an accelerated pace.
Rohit, would you like to add?
Yeah, so just to build to what Yogesh is saying, vision is very simple, to make banking visible but the bank invisible. That's what you want to really do. Everything you can do on your app. You don't need to visit the branch. You don't need a relationship manager. Ideally speaking, you should just make sure you're getting that servicing happening rather than the bank being visible to you. And this is really where we're approaching it from. And everything that we're doing is to improve customer experience and make him a much more happier, delighted customer of the bank. So that's really our vision. As I said, make banking visible but the bank invisible.
Banking visible with bank invisible. I love that. That's so well put. Now tell me one thing. You do seem to be at a way more mature stage. And
No, we're not.
We're
no, relatively. Let me add the caveat, relatively. Of course, we are all learning and there's a lot of work to be done. We recognize that. But relatively, you are at a mature stage. But I am sure there are a lot of folks in the room, a lot of leaders, a lot of marketers who are probably getting started or who are probably still evaluating. So, just from your journey, whatever experience you think could be value adding or could be a good beginner's view to share or some quick advice, it'll be lovely to hear.
I think for me, you have to first define what is the business problem you're trying to solve. This bit about I want to use AI, I won't get you anywhere. So first start with what is the business problem that you want to solve. So in our case, we said we want to solve 3 problems. We want to solve the area of personalization, how can we offer better personalized experiences? How can we really make it as a differentiator for service? How can we reduce fraud management? So when you started by saying, I want to do these three things, then you ask the question as to what is the reason why we're not able to do that. And finally, you'll get the answer in most cases that we don't know enough about customers. We invest a lot in a strong customer data platform because that is the bedrock of anything that you do.
Sure.
Once you got a very strong customer data platform, then you just throw a bunch of smart young engineers at it who can really train that data to basically answer those three business problems that we defined. But start with business problems, build a strong data platform, and then get your team of engineers to really play with that and build the right machine learning algorithms to really train that data to solve those three problems. If you don't start with the problem, then you'll just kind of use some cool words in AI, attend some sessions in AI, and you won't get anywhere. But
Makes
start
sense.
with the business problem.
Excellent. I love that. Yogesh?
I think just a couple of points to add, right? So people, customer or business problems are very important, as Rohit said, but also the data governance,
Right.
right? Like orchestration, all of those things are very, very important. I would say on top of it, you have to start experimenting. So this is not about like, I need to go and build the North Star and all. Like start with the smallest problem first, learn from it and keep iterating. Don't be afraid of failures. Like if you're going to be afraid of failures, don't get into it. Don't get into anything new. Don't get into any startup because failure is part of it, right? So none of us got anything built in a business without, multiple failures.
But fail soon.
Yeah. Fast.
Right? But listen, before I let you go, you were talking about the angle of having common goals as marketing and CX, remember? So is that something you would also add to the piece of advice for those who are actually looking at setting some sort of a matrix as well?
Yeah, I think, so we were having an earlier chat about like, how do you break silos between different teams? And my point there is like, at Kotak, we have a very clear strategy. We have the mission statement. Then, it's all about having common goals. So everyone's kind of like bought into it. So Rohit and my teams, we have common goals. We are marching towards it. There are certain things that his team does. There are certain things my team does, and so on. So that's why like we are joined by the hip to march towards the same goal.
And that's visible. You're joined by the hips. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. I don't think we could end on a better note and end on better advice that we've got. I hope this has been valuable for all of you. And as you can see, the very fact that when you collaborate actively, the level of synergy is visible even in a conversation which one has with a CMO and CDO hand in hand. And that's what we all should be achieving. And this is a great use case. Thank you for being here. It was lovely chatting.
Thank you so much to our eminent speakers for joining us. Just allow us a moment as we'd like to call upon Anshul Batra, Vice President Advertising, Paytm Ads, who are our corporate partners. Let's give them a bigger round of applause as we request Mr. Batra to join us. And Anshul, if I may request you to please present a token of appreciation to our valued speakers, starting with Mr. Rohit Basin. Let's give him a warmer round of applause. Some excellent key takeaways from Mr. Basin's talk. Thank you so much. May I also request Anshul to present a token of appreciation to Yogesh Garg. Let's get them both in one frame. Let's give a bigger round of applause. An absolute pleasure hearing from Mr. Garg. And towards the end, if you can have the four of you in one frame, let's get the picture perfect moment right there. Hashtag Data Unplugged, I think. Let's give them a valuable round of applause for all their discussions. As Monica rightly said, the CMO and the CDO coming together on one platform, truly speaking about Kotak AI, and we learned so much from their use cases. Thank you once again for joining us on the same.